we're just gonna jump right into things. No funny cold open this week because I have been sick this past week and am still kinda sick, as you can probably hear it in my voice. And I want to get through this video before my voice entirely gives out. And early apologies to Earl, who will have to listen to me cough through this whole recording of the voiceover. Let's get started. I'm Moonlight150, and this is my overview of the latest Rentorou's Family's Daily Life, Chapter 2, The Hulk and Totally Such a Drag, and so on. We can't technically support this series yet outside of Japan, so instead be sure to go support the main series by purchasing the volume releases in your region, as well as supporting Sunday for getting both series out for us. Wow, I'm so sick I got my usual spiel backwards. Alright, let's continue before things get worse. Another story of how a girlfriend's parents got together. This time, it's the most prominent parents from the main series thus far, that being the Yakuzens. After stumbling upon their wedding photo in the closet... Why isn't your wedding photo out on display in the house? Isn't that like one of the most common photos to have around a house? Okay, whatever, moving on. The Yakuzen parents begin to reminisce on how they met. And no, I'm not going to fall down the same rabbit hole here with this 20 years ago business. This line pretty much sums up what... This line pretty much sums up with what was established during Yaku's introduction, where Kasuri's parents mentioned meeting and having Kasuri a little bit later in life than the average married couple. And with how we see how visibly older Mama Yakuzen is in her non-altered form, that all checks out. But given the way Nakamura draws these characters, it's really hard to grasp an age older than probably less than 40 in this flashback. Oh, hello, Moon from the future here. I just recorded all of this and sent it to Earl to edit, but I found a little more. In Chapter 74, Kasuri's mom mentions she is 55, and this flashback is 28 years ago, meaning she is 27 here, and that she had Kasuri at 37. So everything checks out, but it's nice to have some actual solid numbers for once. Okay, back to the video. After a drive-by zing in the hallways of Good Luck Drugs and Research Laboratories, oh, what a mouthful of a company name, turns out Mama Yakuzen... Okay, actually, I'm gonna skip a little bit here. At the end of the story, we get their first names, and I'd rather use those rather than calling them Mama and Papa Yakuzen. After nearly 200 chapters and 5 years since their debut, we finally have the names of Kasuri's parents being Haruhiko for Kasuri's dad, and Yomogi for Kasuri's mom. Okay, now back to the story. Once more from the top. After a drive-by zing in the hallways of where they work, Haruhiko has taken an immediate interest in Yomogi, only to find out that she is the most popular woman at the lab, and that she turns down everyone who asks her out because she only cares about making drugs right now. Taking what his colleague said of ordinary men have no shot with Yomogi as a challenge instead of a warning, Haruhiko decides spending several months on his own personal project of a drug while on company time. Yet, I always get in trouble from my manager if I write these scripts on company time. So unfair. In order to no longer be an ordinary man in the eyes of Yomogi, Haruhiko works on a drug that makes him a beefy stud. But the god of drugs took that a little too literally and made him a hulking beef monster instead, which originally seemed like Haruhiko was going to label this a failure, as that is not the beef stud look that he was after. But that will have to wait, as just as Haruhiko discovered a super strong version of himself, the love of his life just so also happens to be conveniently get kidnapped by a spy. Ooh, what kind of spy? The government? Big Pharma? A rival drug lab? Oh, it's never told to us. Ugh, fine, whatever. After smashing the truck and somehow not yeeting Yomogi flying into next week by how much force he was given on that one side of the truck, Haruhiko breaks her free, and with another big jump that also somehow makes the truck explode, the rescue mission was a success. Haruhiko then decides to leave things as that because he expects to be rejected in this hideous monster form that he is in. But as it turns out, bulging beef monsters are Yomogi's kink, as she is able to recognize him even in monster form and even proposes to him right there, right on the spot. Given that she has been on his mind for the past several months and did all this work for her, he instantly accepts. Back to the present, and Kasuri is all jealous, hearing her parents being all lovey-dovey and cuddling, which makes her take off wanting to do the same with Rentaro. Man, I hope he's out like on a date right now with one of his other girlfriends, and then Kasuri just comes running in and tackles him. Now that would be something I want to see in the series. So there's something about this story that I have been avoiding mentioning until now, tiptoeing around this elephant in the room like I owe it money. And that is the fact that we get the confirmation that the Yakuza name comes from the mom side of the family. As within this flashback, Yomogi is referred to as Yakuzen-san, and Haruhiko is referred to as Yakumaru-san. An interesting revelation for the Yakuzen family. given how Yaku's last name is also Yakuzen. It was kind of assumed that Haruhiko was her son. It was kind of up in the air originally and could be interpreted either way, but now we have concrete details. So now there are new things to think about regarding the Yakuzen family. Firstly, that Haruhiko here either took her last name when they married, or neither of them changed their names when they married, which is nothing new in this modern day and age. But the more interesting part here is that Kusuri was given the Yakuzen name. In a lot of modern marriages, kids usually take their father's surname, or some kind of hyphenated name of the two from my experience. So the fact that they give Kusuri the Yakuzen name means something. Now I'm going to be rattling off some stuff here that I got from some Googling, and I'm sure I'll have something wrong, and someone more familiar with Japanese culture will be sure to correct me in the comments. Something like this isn't entirely unheard of. While rare, there is some precedence behind it. Namely, this must mean that the Yakuzen name must have some kind of importance to it. They are an important lineage or a household name, and Haruhiko, realizing he is marrying into an important family lineage like the Yakuzens, he gave his daughter the Yakuzen name and maybe even took the Yakuzen name for himself. Or there's also the other option. No, I can't do it. I'm not going down this hole again.
When it comes to 1-year-old
Kusuri, Haruhiko.
you are not.
Okay, yeah, I'm not going that far. Okay. Anyway. Given the history of both Yaku and her daughter Yomogi being so prolific within the drug industry, particularly Yaku and her service in the military, it wouldn't surprise me if the Yakuzen family is an important figurehead in their field, and Yomogi is probably Yaku's only child. And when an important family lineage only has a daughter, she may continue the line by giving her children that family name. And the husband can be brought into the family with a process in Japan called mukoyoshi, which is a form of adoption for men being brought into a family lineage, though this is more for legal reasons in regard to family businesses and whatnot. Not super relevant to this topic at this point of time, but I'm just saying it's a thing. Japan has more of a focus on a family name rather than a surname, so when your family has some kind of importance or weight to it, and when all of your heirs are women, it's not unheard of to pass the name on regardless of the societal norm that most families take on the husband/father's surname, because they want to continue on the important family name and status. This is why in a lot of Japanese media, you'll hear the phrase, "I'll carry on the blank family name." It's super important in their culture. Now that I've babbled long enough, my current theory is that eventually we will learn that the Yakuzen family name has some kind of status to it. Who knows, maybe Yaku founded some kind of drug development business herself. Maybe she even helped found the Good Luck Drugs and Research Laboratories for all we know. Just adding to the wealth of the Rentaro family, even though we have plenty of that covered by Hahari and her infinite wealth. This side manga is going to be the death of me if I have to keep pulling these theories out every chapter because they are giving me exactly what I want, that being backstory. Thankfully, our next backstory is a lot less complicated. Surprisingly, it's Akko's parents, particularly Akko's dad, who also got a name of Darumeshian Kedarui. Yeah, I'm not pronouncing that again. As we see him in his younger years working the blue-collar job of a janitor, where his only joy in life is getting off of work so he can enjoy life's greatest vices, that being booze, nicotine, and gambling. Now, where have I heard that before? Though that was a long time ago, and now several years later, he has a daughter, without looking a single day older himself somehow. You know, between the several years mentioned here and the several months mentioned in the previous story, I think between Nakamura and Sunday, someone here is being a little too loose with the definition of several. Now the only thing on Mr. Dalmatian Kangaroo's mind is the alien-looking spawn that he helped create. I mean, just look at that thing. You can't convince me that's a human. Now you're gonna get me speculating that Akko and her family aren't from this planet. But in the joys of fatherhood, Mr. Darmanitan Kedarui finishes up work quickly, so he is able to get home faster to his daughter. But on the way back this one particular day, Mr. Draconian Kid Cuisine is stopped by the amalgamation of all of his vices at once of a merchant selling booze, smokes, and televised gambling on his person. Momoha would be doomed if she came across this guy. Though he has a moment of clarity in realizing that being a father now means he should be better with his money, and instead he opts to buy his daughter a giant plushie. Which of course, with cute being a she's being entire being, she immediately latched onto the thing, where Mr. Darjeeling Cedar Brew realizes that the dopamine of his daughter enjoying cute things outranks all of his other previous vices. And then his routine of finishing work early to get home to his daughter sooner is recognized by his employer and gives him a raise for working so hard. Ugh, now I know for a fact this is a work of fiction. And that will do it for me for this dive into the backstories of all the girlfriends' families. Oh, felt that one coming. And that'll do it for this dive into the backstories of all the girlfriends' families. You know, as much as I like getting background stories to these characters, especially ones like this chapter where we get more info on characters that we already knew, and ones that we had singular panels of previously, I feel like them all being stuck in the past is rather limiting. I would love to see some present day stuff, maybe even with the girlfriends in tow, seeing them spend time with their families that isn't the Rentaro family. But I guess that feels more like regular daily life chapter shenanigans than what this spin-off manga is for. Nakamura probably has in his mind what kind of stories go in terms of what is considered a daily life and what is now considered a family daily life. Thankfully, the break weeks are slowing down as next week we are back in the main series yet again, this time with Kimari and Shizuka having some adventures in the library. You all know the drill by now, roll the clip. If it's a Shizuka-focused chapter, it's a tearjerker. I've been Moonlight150, and I will see you all next week as we see what the library has in store for us to check out with these two. And be sure to like, comment, and especially subscribe, as we are now on the home stretch to 3,000 subscribers. Let's see if we can reach 3,000 subscribers before Season 3 of the anime airs in July. Hashtag 3K subs by Season 3, because I have a special video planned for when we do. I know you all can do it. Hit up everyone you know and bug them to subscribe. And do it before I die. And I'll see you all next week, and hopefully I'll be feeling better by then.